What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy here with Majors Academy Dog Training, and we are now live. It is Thirsty Thursdays, episode 16, and I'm going to drink 2 beers, and we're going to answer some dog training questions. Let me just show you what I got, what I'm drinking. Both are from Bull Falls Brewery in Wausau, Wisconsin, and one of them is the Midnight Star Lager. And the next one is the Hefeweizen Ale. Alright, both of these beers are from Bull Falls Brewery. Okay, and they can put on a mask. Wait a minute. How do I put on a mask? Oh, that thing. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Anyway, let's see. Swipe left to reveal comments and interactions. So anyway, I'm going to start off with the Hefeweizen. We're going to talk about, I get a lot of rescues, not all the time, but I would say once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I get rescues that ask me to do something, and I give them conditions to if I can help them, and then I also give them an option, or the best way, in my suggestion, in my opinion, the best way to help them. And they usually, on average, turn me down. So I'm gonna go through the conditions that I give them. I'll go through the best scenario, the best way that I can help them. That's what I give them. Because often, well, we'll get into it, but if anybody has any questions right away, we can address those. I do have a question. I don't think she's joined yet, but as soon as one of our guests come on in specific, we'll go over her question. Excuse me. Anyway, I hope you guys are going to have a happy holidays, whatever that may be. We are in our new house in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I've been in Green Bay for 2 years now, and this is the first time that we're going to have a white Christmas, so that's pretty exciting. It's because we just moved into a new house and we have a white Christmas, so it's our first Christmas is white, so that's pretty snazzy if you ask me. All right, let's see, let's get into it. I know you guys are here to learn about dogs, right? All right. So let me just tell you this first and foremost. The video that I just posted is a really kind of cool educational video about a dog that I'm working with named Vivian. And Vivian is a leash reactive dog, very fearful on the leash. Doesn't matter if the dog is 50 yards away, the dog still reacts. And the video that I posted today talks about ear position. All right. Ultimately, we're going after mindset when we are on leash, and we want to get our dogs to become more secure on leash. We're going after the mindset, but the body language reflects what the mind is thinking. So in this case, or in many dogs' case, the ear position tells a lot. It's it tells you a lot on how the dog is feeling, the ear position. So in the video, you'll see that Vivian's ears are erect the moment she becomes insecure. And that is your cue on advocating for that dog, for your dog, when the ears go up. Do not let the dog focus on any dog for more than a split second, because you might be too late. So you'll see, I just posted it. I mean, right before I got on here, I just posted it. So you'll see the dog's ear go up, and you'll even hear me give the dog a leash correction. And then you see what happens to the ears. The ears go back. That's where you want to keep it. Once you know that the dog's ears are back, or you keep those dogs' ear back, they almost never react when those ears are back. So it's all about when those ears go up. It's almost like the eyes get wide, right? Because they just noticed the dog. So you'll see the dog ear go up, head turn, ears up. I give a leash correction, head goes back forward, ears go back. Okay, that's the other thing you can look for, which I forgot to mention in the video, is the head position. So Vivian's here, we're walking straight, right? We're walking this way. Then here's the dog, goes like that, ears go up, boom, just like that. Leash correction, head forward, ears back. And that can happen at the same time. So my hand right here is her nose, like this. My thumbs are her ears. So we're walking, dog barks, boom, ears up. Okay, so it probably happened at the same time, just like that. Leash correction, boom. Ears she might look back, ears might go back up, leash correction. And don't be hesitant on continuing to, every time she does this, the dog does this, right? Ears up, looking over at the dog, to give a leash correction every single time. Okay, and it doesn't have to be tough. It just needs to be tough enough for the dog to go like this, and then ears back, right? To relaxed position, head forward. So that's the key on getting your dog to not only not blow up, not react in an aggressive manner, but also start to learn that you have a job to do, and your job is to stay by my side, which then creates the trust that you are ultimately going to need. Okay, so because you are going to, the on-leash dynamic is a very sensitive one. Most people think dogs should be meeting other dogs on leash, which is totally not right. They shouldn't be meeting other dogs on leash, and but that's what causes insecurity to build. Okay, so we can't just allow any dogs to run up. Now, what I just learned about Vivian, which is the dog that I'm training, the little pit bull whippet looking thing. What I learned about her is that she got attacked in a dog park by a German Shepherd that punctured her on the top of the head. And ever since then, the dog now gets really crabby and sassy after playing with even the dog she lives with. But not only that, I seen it when the dog came over for a temperament test with Tobias. She got crabby when T-Pain became a little bit more assertive, right? So not only that, but we're working to get her to be more vulnerable, show her that dogs can play rough, and it can still be a safe environment. But the dog has to spend time with a trainer or someone who's going to meticulously monitor every interaction. Because if we allow dogs to keep putting pressure on her, she doesn't know. She's just going to stay in that sassy, kind of closed-minded. You know, it's almost like talking to someone who's guarded, right? They are going to be a little bit more or less likely to interact in an open way. So that's what we want to show Vivian is, you know, you can be vulnerable and it actually be a safe place, like you were in the beginning before you got attacked by the German Shepherd. So ever since she got attacked by the German Shepherd, she's been a little skeptical when it comes to playing with dogs. And so that's the other thing that we're working on. Anyway, for those of you who just joined, and for people who are just tuning in for the first time, my name is Jeremy Majors. We are a dog training company out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. We focus on, and or the majority of the dogs we work with are either fearful or aggressive. So if any of you guys have a question, go ahead and ask, because I'll be here until I finish 2 years, and that's it. So yeah, you guys ask questions. Otherwise, I do have a question that will be addressed from Virginia. I don't know if you're watching. Virginia, are you watching yet? Can I get into it? Can we start a conversation? Also, if you guys have a subject that you would like me to talk about, we can do that. The other thing is, I'm going to talk about, again, what rescues try and get me to do. And if you are a dog trainer, then you probably are familiar with what they try and get you to do. And basically how you say no to those situations, and or give them the terms in which it is going to be conducive to both you, the dog, and the organization. So I might as well get into it, because Virginia hasn't joined yet, and any of you guys have questions. So I'll go ahead and talk about that. But first, we sit. All right. Wait a minute. Got a question. Does the ear position go for off leash as well? My female is a jealous dog, and every so often she goes after my male dog that almost always draws blood. All right, Khristal, first and foremost, I was talking about on leash. Now, not to say that it doesn't have anything to do with off leash, but I think what your problem is, if your female dog gets jealous of your male dog, it's probably because of your attention. More times than not, if dogs are fighting over jealousy, they're fighting over attention. And the way to alleviate that or stop that is to pet one dog at a time, and or if you're outside with both of them, just walk away when they both come close to you. All right. So, but overall, if your dogs are fighting, that just means that you have to take more control over both the female and the male. And remember that dogs don't fight if they're calm. Okay. So if they're fighting, make sure you know what they're fighting over, and introduce structure within that scenario. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Mouthy pups. I say no or growl or put a toy in her mouth. What I usually do for puppies that are mouthy, honestly, I don't care if they're mouthy. I do want them to stop when I want them to stop, though. They're going to play with their mouths. That's what they do. But I do want them to stop when I want them to stop. So what I'll do is I'll just pinch their bottom jaw. All right, I'll do that for adult dogs as well. They don't bite down. So I'll pinch their bottom jaw and tell them no. And then repeat. If they decide to continue to do that, pinch their bottom jaw like this and tell them no. And then let go. Keep it for a second or two, let go, tell them no. They will not like it. And then they'll stop trying to bite you. All right, so that even goes for adult dogs, because one of my dogs bites pretty hard when playing. And so I totally eliminated biting when we play. And I did that when I just grab her bottom jaw. Ooh, she doesn't like that. And now she doesn't even attempt to put her teeth on me. All right. So I just grab her bottom jaw a little firm and then let go. Tell her no. Tell the dog no. And continue to do it until the dog actually says, I'm not getting what I want out of this scenario, so I'm going to stop. Okay? But that may take some persistence or consistency from your part. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, we'll jump into the subject. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate the love. Feel free to share it if you are so inclined. We're going to be here for another beer and a half. All right. So might as well get into it. What the title of the episode 16 is. What is it that rescues ask me to do, and what do I tell them? Well, this is what I tell them, or this is what they ask me. Just had one call me, or excuse me, just had one contact me this week, and they always ask me to take a dog that is, you know, very questionable, very aggressive, usually on their last, they're at their wits' end with this dog, and they needed the dog a place to stay. They don't have any other options. Maybe the foster said, I want it out of my house. The adopter said, I want it out of my house. And so these rescues call me and they ask me to take the dog for a few weeks. And my experience with that is, first and foremost, if that's what you want, it's going to come with some conditions, because I don't want that situation. Now, what I always tell them is that I need a human to work with. All right, because it doesn't matter how much training the dog has. It doesn't matter how long the dog stays with me. And no matter how good the training is either. If the dog goes back to an environment that allows the dog to act similar to the way the previous environment was, the dog's going to do that. So I tell rescues all the time, I need a human to work with. That is the most important thing. The human is the factor, the main factor. If there is a human that is willing to work with the dog, then I'll work with any dog. Even with my clients, if I feel that my clients aren't willing to work with the dog, then I'm not going to work with them. So, and rescues sometimes get really snippy about that, because as some of you may know, not all of them are created equal. And so either I can scare them off with, what it's going to cost, or I'm going to tell them that this is the best way that I can help you. And I tell everyone this. This is the best way that I can help you. The number one way, but this is the hard way. No one wants to do it. The number one way I can help rescues is by providing the rescue with seminars. Because it's the people that have to be educated and or taught techniques in order to best serve the dog community. If we have more confident people that can deal with difficult dogs, then that makes everything easier, better. Would you agree? So I offer, and I don't charge a lot at all. There are people that are watching this podcast that know I work with their rescue. I only work with one rescue. And they have me out at least every 2 months, or, every 2 months. So, and they have said that it's drastically changed how many bites they have. So more so than taking this one dog, rehabilitating the dog, then the dog going back to someone who doesn't know really how to deal with the dog, get bit again, and then it also makes me look like I didn't do much, right? So rather than having that scenario, why not give the tools to the people to learn how to deal with difficult dogs? That, I think, is more impactful than anything. But for some reason, people don't want that. Rescues don't want that. They would rather send the dog away. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with this crazy dog to just send it back to someone, to people who, and not to say that this is every rescue. I'm just speaking in general and in my experience. I'm not sending the dog back to people who aren't educated about how to get the dog to act how I'm going to get the dog to act. I'm not going to send the dog back to an environment that's not conducive to mine, because my environment is going to work for the dog. And so that's why I say I need a person to work with. If I don't have a person to work with, at least a foster. It don't even have to be the adopter. I prefer it to be the adopter, but if I don't have at least a person to work with and to educate, then I'm not doing it. And you got to be straight up with these rescue people. Some of these rescue people can be pushy, and they just want what they want. You know, I had someone, a rescue, tell me, we're gonna tell everyone how bad your customer service is and blah 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 in Milwaukee. There was a rescue in Milwaukee that did that after I declined helping this dog. You know, they tried to make me feel bad about it. So that was like maybe 4 months ago. And the funny thing is, my company won best dog training company in Milwaukee. So sorry about it. But I just, like I say, I get those every now and then, and they frustrate me because I want to help, but I'm going to help on my terms and the best, and I want to help in the best way that I think I can help. So we got some comments. I'm going to read through them. Okay. You would think that would be understood, that the dog needs a human that will continue to work after the dog has been with you. Yeah, because I tell you what, I can tell. I don't even have to evaluate a dog. I really don't. I don't have to evaluate a dog. If the dog has at least been with someone who has good intentions but is just uneducated, I can pretty much predict that the dog's behavior, a lot of it came from because the dog thinks it could get away with it, and the people who are watching the dog didn't know how to teach the dog right from wrong. Why? Because there's not a lot of good information out there. When you look up on the internet, you see it's flooded with positive reinforcement, which doesn't work. So you know, these people are not equipped to work with the dog. But guess what? When it comes to dogs and the failure of dogs, it's always the human in some way. Unknowingly or not knowingly, it's always the human's fault, no matter what. Dogs fail. I mean, people fail dogs. Dogs don't ever. It's not ever their fault. Okay, somewhere along the line, a human wasn't there in those crucial steps when they were growing up, and now when the dog's big and and can cause harm, now you want to address the stuff that you should have addressed when the dog was weeks old or months old. So I got an American Bulldog in my kennel now, and he is just a huge puppy. He's big. He's 11 months, but he is huge. Just a big old puppy, you know, and that is still a dangerous dog because he does things that puppies do. And what do puppies do? Put his mouth on you. And what that puppy's going to learn, what that American Bulldog is going to learn, is that he can get his way if he decides to do this with his shoulder. Hey, let me get that. And then it becomes even more pushy, and then I just growled and they backed off. What else can I do if I growl? Oh wait, growling didn't work. Let me see if this worked. Oh, that worked. Oh, okay, cool. Come near my food, see what happens. All right. Now you're building some confidence up in him. All right. So then you try to take that food dish from him, and he latches onto you. But you didn't address that growling when you should have. You didn't address that even just that little shoulder shrug or that little butt movement. You didn't address that. but you want to address it now when he put his teeth on you. Too late. Now someone else has to deal with that. So that's what I deal with, though. I deal with dogs who have had success with teeth in flesh. That's what I got to deal with. So I'm not going to deal with it for nothing. I want to have a human to work with, you know. Anyway, I'm rambling now. All right. What topics do you cover in a rescue seminar? The basics, the basic handling of fearful and aggressive dogs. You know, basic things that I deal with the most, which is territorial aggression, food aggression, leash aggression, barking, you know, just general fearful stuff and how to deal with a difficult dog. Crate aggression, fear, it doesn't matter. Or, you know, just all those little difficult things that people have to deal with. So I hope that answers your question, Katie. But it's just real basic. Everyone needs to know how to walk a dog on leash properly. And that may sound, you know, elementary, but it's super, super important. Everyone needs to know how to properly crate train their dog, and I'm not talking about just pottying, peeing, not potty training. I'm talking about separation anxiety, how to eliminate that, how to keep dogs calm in the crate. Okay, very, 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 very important. So things like that. All right, I got some comments. Holy crap. I try to tell people themselves, as the dog coach, some people have such a hard time because they think everything is mean or they feel sorry for the dog. Yeah. You know, mean is allowing the dog to jump on your guests. Mean is allowing your dog to bark its head off. Over and over and over, to be in a constant state of stress. That's what mean is. Mean is not even having the ability to have your dog out because the dog's gonna jump on everyone. Mean is putting them away because you haven't trained them right to be inclusive to the family without acting like a butthole. That's what mean is. Mean is not being able to take the dog places because the dog is dog aggressive, human fearful, dog fearful. That's what mean is. You know, we do mean things to them health-wise. I mean, think about how many dogs have problems with the vet. You know, we let strangers poke and prod them in places that don't really get poked and prodded at, but we're okay with that. But we're not okay with telling the dog no. We're not okay with a leash correction or an e-collar correction. So it's mean is not having the ability to include your dog in your lifestyle. That's what mean is. Mean is saying, I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather put it away. Put the dog away. So many rescues have a tendency to blame the people for breaking the dog instead of realizing dogs come with propensities that may need to be managed by someone competent to do so. Scores of them blame the people when the dog bites instead of recognizing that some dogs have a tendency to bite under certain circumstances unless they can be trained otherwise. That's correct, Patty. That's a really good comment. But again, I think it all falls under education. Even if we can educate rescues on how to better screen the dogs, not only the dogs, but the fosters and the adopters. If we can, you know, I tell people all the time, and this is pretty tough, but if I'm working with a client who can't be assertive, who cannot bring it out of themselves to be assertive, then I say this might not be the dog for you. There are dogs that don't need this level of assertion to behave. You wanted to get this rescue dog, which you knew nothing about, or even you just got this puppy who comes from terrible genetics, and because it's cute and a bad breeder, so you know, if this dog needs this type of correction in order to survive, if you can't do that, then you may think about rehoming the dog to someone who can. And people hate to hear that, but it could benefit the dog, because sometimes those situations actually do pan out to be good situations. All right, if I have a dog that I cannot deal with, and don't have the time to deal with, don't have the temperament to deal with, then it may be the wrong temperamented dog for me. Okay, so I run into a lot of that too. People, I need to go to Racine. People get these dogs, and I always ask, you know, were you able to see the mother? How was the breeder? Because I want to know. I want to know one day to be able to say, this breeder is good. If you're looking for a dog, go to this breeder. If you're looking to buy a puppy, I want to give them, you know, a good reference, right? Because there are, as we know, a lot of breeders, and so a lot of bad breeders, and so you know, again, what I tell people is, if you kind of knew a little bit about the breeder, about their lineage, and or if you could somehow learn about the rescue dog, then your chances for success would be much, much better. Looks like it, don't it? So anyway, I should say, for anyone who just joined in, if you guys have a question, feel free to type it. We're here for about, let's see, I got about a fourth of a beer and then a whole beer, and then we're done. Or if it's 7 o'clock, then I'm done. Actually, no, I'll go until I'm done drinking. Anybody else drinking some good beer? I know most of my followers, they drink wine, so I'm not drinking wine though. I'm drinking beer. Hefeweizen Ale from Bull Falls Brewery in Wausau, Wisconsin, and it's good. One of my clients got this for me. I like that clients are catching on, that are watching this. People just be sending me beer, man. I love it. All right. So, Carly, what you drinking? I know you're drinking beer. Oh, Carly's watching. Oh, that's a Fetch Rescue representative right there. Working with both Roddies on crutches. What? And an unsteady leg. What happened to you? Of course, IPA. What happened, Kim? Why are you on crutches? You working with Roddies and you're on crutches. Sheesh. That's gotta be tough. Scotch, 12-year-old, single malt. Oh, okay. Whoa. And she went to the expensive stuff for me. All right. I actually like Scotch, man. I tried some, they call it, I just learned this term, but I was drinking it with my uncle, and your hubby's, he's messed up. Okay. I thought you were on crutches. But anyway, my uncle has some good Scotch, and I think it's called peaty, if I'm saying that right. But it's that smoky flavor. Love it. It's really good. The more peaty, the better, because everyone around the table didn't like it except for me and my uncle. So anyway. But he's home with the dogs. So now, yeah, that would happen. All right, I'm gonna answer another question that I got. Someone posted on my Facebook. So let me get to it here. Let's see, mentions. I think that's it. Maybe not. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to ask, and or if you want to chime in on the conversation we had about rescues and such, go ahead and comment. How do I get there? Oh, here we go. Okay. No, that's not it. All right. Oops. All right. I can't find it. I don't know where the heck or how to get to that. Anyway, so I want to talk to you guys though, really about this American Bulldog that I have. This guy is 11 months and he's here for lunging and biting humans, and he has one eye. Have you guys seen this dog? He looks really cool. Like one eye is completely gone and it's like has fur over it, and the other eye, he's like looks like he's got eye makeup on, so you can't really tell that he's got one eye. But if you go to my Facebook and see that last picture I posted of him, you can't even tell that he doesn't have one eye. But the dude has one eye, and it does affect him, like temperamentally wise. He sometimes, when he's coming out of the crate, he'll hit the side of the crate, and but he tends to dart out of. He tends to be he came on a harness, and it was the dog that I worked on a harness, but he tends to really, when he wants to go somewhere or do something, he tends to just bolt, right? And so when they first dropped him off and he had that harness, oh my God, it was terrible because he's huge, and he was just pulling me everywhere. I mean, it was pretty icy out too. I slipped and fell on my ass, and I was just like, dude, this dog is strong, and he don't even know where he's going. He just wants to go. But his temperament is awesome. I really like him. He's super good in the crate, and he's a very playful dog. He just needs to learn some manners. That's what it is. He just needs to learn some manners, and he gets along. He just met all my dogs today, and he's just a big old goofball. I'll post some video of him playing with my dogs probably tomorrow, but yeah, he's just here for basic obedience and the lunging, because he jumps on people. He's too big to be jumping on people, so we're going to address that as well. All right, everything with crutches is non-negotiable, so Dozer is doing great with his place command, but Daisy's all over the place, so we're nervous about Dozer going after Daisy while my hubby is by himself. Yeah, I have a suggestion. Why don't you send Daisy over here? How about that? Send Daisy. It's Daisy's turn. Daisy sounds like she's causing some trouble. We done already got Dozer. We got Dozer in control. Now we need to get Daisy in control, because Daisy sounds like the problem. Send her on over. Otherwise, do what we did with Dozer to Daisy. That's it. Put her on leash and give her some non-negotiable jobs. Okay. How's the new place going? Well, good Lord, let me tell you. I'm trying to get that place heated. We've dug a 54-foot trench, 18 inches into the ground. My back is killing me. And but we had to dig around a brick pathway that I have going into the backyard. We had to dig around it, so I dug around it. I didn't go through it yet, and I waited too late. Now the ground's frozen. and so it's been hell trying to get underneath the little pathway with the ground being frozen. And so I've been out there pretty much every day just pounding away at this dirt, trying to get that so I can get my gas line laid so that I can actually then start connecting it to the heater, and then it can heat the place. So that's what's happening now. All the dogs are staying in the house with us for up until I get that place heated. My neighbor is a heating and air guy, and so he is going to help with all that, and he's not even asking for any money. So that's awesome. But other than that, this place is a blessing, man. I don't feel I feel under deserving of this place because it's so great. Thanks for asking. So I've been talking to a woman with a fearful dog. Excuse me. Came from a rescue, Australian Shepherd. I've walked with her. If you come close, she cowers. It's been 6 months and I don't see much progress. The dog side eyes me the whole walk. When I have a foster, I don't engage with her because she will poop if we push her. Okay, so who has the dog? You or the woman? Came from a rescue, Australian Shepherd. If the dog is still fearful like that after 6 months, someone's not doing something right. 6 months is plenty of time. Are they allowing the dog to pull on the walk? Because if the dog is still side-eyeing you on a walk, then that means the dog doesn't trust the owners enough. I want my dog to when I say hey or stop, them to actually stop. But again, I can't stress this enough. Just gonna say, oh, my dad's got it. I don't gotta do this at that person. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta do this. Oh, there's a person right there. There's a person right there. There's a person right there. I don't gotta do all that because I'm gonna say stop it. It's okay. You know, you don't gotta do all that. So after 6 months, that's plenty of time for a dog to feel safe on leash. So unless the dog never gets walked on leash, unless the dog is allowed to pull wherever it wants, she will walk on a 15-foot leash. Okay. Well, I would say try having the dog walk by her side. Loose leash. Make sure they're walking loose leash. If they can't walk loose leash, then they should get a tool to get them to walk loose leash. And yes, a leash correction is necessary. Teach the dog right from wrong. Okay? And looking like that is not necessarily wrong, but it's unnecessary because you're not there to hurt it. The dog thinks you're there to hurt it. It's got to keep its eye on you. And so a leash correction just gives the dog confidence on the walk. But 6 months, they got to learn how to walk the dog right. I've got a YouTube video on how to walk the dog the correct way in order for the dog to gain trust from the handler. Really want to send Daisy in the spring. Depends on the hubby. When the hubby gets back to work, we started an e-collar on her while I'm not here. All right. I hope to see you guys at the spring. That would be great. Miss Daisy. All right. Anybody just watching, just joined in? Thirsty Thursdays, Jeremy Majors, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Majors Academy Dog Training. Feel free to ask any dog training question. I'm going to drink this beer here, Midnight Star Lager, and then I'm going to be done. So you have up until this is empty to ask questions. You can even just put up a topic that you want me to talk about. when it comes to dogs. Because that's all we're talking about is dogs. We can talk about something else too, but I only know about dogs. I know a little bit about fitness. Oh, you tried it? Yeah, I haven't had this beer. I'm gonna have to log this in to my Untapped app, but I haven't tried it. I haven't even I had clients from Wausau with a golden retriever named Murphy, and they must have watched the show because during their go home they let me have this. They gave me this variety pack, and I'm like, awesome. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. Prong collar versus pinch collar. I think prong collars and pinch collars are the same thing. I don't know what you're... I think they're the same thing. I don't know. Are you talking about a choke chain? A choke collar? Do you do pack introductions for new dogs? I sure do. I don't put that out as a service, but if any of my clients, you know, are bringing a new dog in, or if I'm working with fighting dogs and I'm boarding the one that's obviously the problem, then I will reintroduce. So yeah, if you've got a dog or somebody else got a dog that they want me to introduce, most certainly would love to help. I don't have a problem with that. What do you recommend for new adopters who are just bringing their pets home around a busy holiday time, travel lots of people, etc.? I recommend not doing that. But if you have to, then they have to dedicate time to the new dog, which is tough because family's around, travels around, all that stuff. So not impossible, but not preferred. The dog needs to know the rules. The dog needs to know the rules from day one, and it's hard to do that when all that commotion is going on. You know, dogs should come with a set of rules that, you know, that must happen when obtaining a dog. You know, it's not just you take care of the dog by feeding, petting, you know, things like that. There are much more things that come into play psychologically that need to be just as important as feeding, petting, and potty training. The dog has to know from day one, that it needs to be quiet in the crate, that it can't dictate more than you dictate. For example, many people think if I allow my dog to go where it wants, it's happy. On leash, just on leash. If I allow my dog to go where it wants, it's happy. It's a happy dog. This is what he wants to do, so I'm going to let him do what he wants. That's just not good. Because if the dog starts to build those I do what I want bricks, and at the top of those bricks sometimes becomes his aggression. Well, hell, I did whatever I wanted. I sleep on the couch, I sleep on the bed. I do what I want. So what's to stop me from biting? Because I do what I want. So that's what we have to evaluate. How much of, and people call me 90% of the, this is what people say, 90% of the time the dog is okay. 95% of the time the dog is okay. Is it? I question that. The dog's just not biting 90% of the time. Doesn't mean it's okay, because the dog just bolted out the door. But that's within your 90. That's what you would consider okay behavior. 90% of the time, you know, he's sleeping on the couch because he asked to sleep on the couch, or he growled at me when I tried to move in bed. But that's within your 90%. So it's probably not 90% of the time he's acting how he should act. It's 90% of the time he's just not biting you, or barking at you, or charging the door at strangers, or whatever. So what you have to decide when really having a dog is, do you have the time to spend with the dog? That's what you have to decide. If you have the time. No. Because let me tell you something. Before I had any dog training knowledge, before I considered myself a dog trainer, I had 3 dogs, 3 pit bulls, off leash. I found out that they enjoyed off leash. They liked doing it. But you know what? It was because I cared enough to provide that for them consistently. I cared enough to figure out how to keep them by me, keep them from running away, keep them from attacking people, other dogs. The only reason I did that is because I knew how enjoyable for them it was to be off leash. Dogs aren't meant to be on leash. They're not meant to be in crates. They weren't born with any of that. They were born with the ability to be led, though. They are born with the ability to follow a leader, the pack mentality. So before prong collars, before e-collars, I didn't have none of that the first 5 years of working with dogs. All I had was my relationship and the care enough to figure out how I could get my dogs to be happy, but also be under control. That's it. And then I wanted to provide that for other people. I wanted to give other people the ability to take their dog off leash. Can you imagine, as a dog, never having the freedom to be off leash? So I wanted to give people that. And that's why I became a dog trainer. But if you don't have the time, if your life is so busy that you can't provide your dog that type of freedom, then you shouldn't have a dog. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh. I'm sorry if that sounds upfront. But make time for your dog, because if you truly care about them, then you want them to be happy. If you truly care about your dog, then you will do things often that will make them happy. I'm at my most peaceful mindset when all 3 dogs are off leash and we're just enjoying the country. And they're doing whatever the hell they want. Except when I say come, they better bring their ass back to me. That's all I ask. Do what you want. But when I say come here, you better come here. Otherwise, things are going to change. So that's my motivation. That's why I want people to have what I have. That's where we have to keep the relationship so that we can provide them with cool things, with things they most enjoy in a safe way for not only the public, but for you and your family. We have to figure out what we need to do in order to include our dogs in more things as opposed to putting them away, because we don't, or we're not, or we're neglecting the time it takes in order to really figure it out. And it's not always, I always give sympathy to people because there is a lot of messed up information out there. All right, the mainstream, let's call it the CNN of dogs, or Fox News, whatever. We're not going to talk politics, but just the media would tell you that you don't use a prong collar, you don't use an e-collar, you use treats for everything. But I get a lot of calls saying that the treats didn't work. So anyway, oh, we got some questions. Christmas is canceled. What? Oh, I would. If you're talking about getting a dog during Christmas, I would suggest not to do it. That's what I would suggest. All right, dog sitting a Yorker. What the hell? Who's 10 years old, and my dog is a year and a half old boxer mix who just wants to play. They've had a few tussles, but the York is an instigator. Any tips? I don't want my dog to crush him. How is the York the instigator if your puppy is wants to play? The puppy wants to play, but the Yorkie says, I don't want to play. And so they get into it. What I would do, it just depends. It can be a teaching moment for your puppy, because if the dog is 10, the dog just wants to be left alone. A lot of dogs at that age don't really want to play with no damn puppy. I'm going to tell you that right now. I used to work at a dog daycare for many years. And as dogs got older, they stopped tolerating puppies. They don't want to deal with that young energy. They'll put them in their place. So I have sympathy for older dogs. I would stop my puppy, which is tough. But that old little dog, you know, maybe the dog may be a little sore, may have a little bit of arthritis going on. So I would stop my puppy. The old lady's like, I just don't want to deal with this young buck. All right, thanks for your question though, AJ. Appreciate it. Our boxer mix has recently, hold on a second, let me take a drink. I'm gonna be here all night. Excuse me. A boxer mix has recently begun to bark at people walking down the street or vehicles passing by. She will stand at the window and bark. I shh her to make her stop, but she will walk away from the window, growling and moaning. Sometimes I will have to stand up to make her leave the window. Is there something we're doing wrong to create this behavior? No, you're not creating the behavior, but you allowed it to happen. But what you're doing is okay. If you can get your dog to effectively walk away and she growls and moans, that's pretty funny. Then just continue to do that. Be consistent with that, because what you're telling the dog is you're not supposed to do this. This is wrong, and then she'll find it not necessary to do so. All right, so continue to teach her right from wrong in that situation. Tell her no. Tell her go lay down. Tell her get away from the window, and she'll accept it if you're consistent enough. Okay, so don't let her ever indulge into that window, because it's just going to prolong the process of her getting over it. All right, so yeah, just keep teaching her right from wrong every single time. Appreciate your question. Why would my pup just jump up on my bed, look at me, and pee? Has never happened. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I have No, I can't answer that. Maybe he got excited. Maybe he got nervous. But that's got to be pretty frustrating to deal with right now. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hold on. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. If you need a refill on those beers, I'm in Wausau now. Are you? Yeah, I think I'll take you up on that. I'll give you. I'll pay you back, man. I'm liking these beers, Kaitlin. I appreciate that. Okay, we're ending our time. I know I've got almost a full beer left, but the problem is I talk and I get to talking and I stop drinking. I got a full beer left, but it's 7 o'clock, and so I'll give you guys the opportunity to answer any more questions or to ask questions if you've got any. Otherwise, I'm gonna go. Anybody else have any final questions? All right. Whoa. I appreciate the thumbs up, the hearts. I thank you guys for that. So anyway, all right, we'll sign off then because I'm gonna go. But thank you guys for watching, joining in. We'll be here next Thursday. We should be for episode 17. And yes, you guys have a happy holidays as well. Stay safe. And if things get to be too much for your dog, put the damn dog in the crate. All right. If your dog can't handle the crowd, give him some exercise in the morning or give him some exercise when you have a break. But if your dog struggles with any of the crowds, put the daggum dog up. All right. You're actually advocating for your dog when you do that. So go ahead and do that. And Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Appreciate it.